Okay, what I wanted to do, Charles, was go through your CV, just find out a bit more about you and obviously your circumstances now and what you're looking for in the Southwest.
Okay.
So tell me where you're from originally and your background.
Okay, I originally trained in the Southwest with KPMG, and I worked down here for a number of years, and then I found myself working in London, mainly because I was invited up there by KPMG. I ran a project with them for a couple of years, which was about improving profitability for the firm. It was very successful. I then went into industry, and after about 5 years up there, I returned to the Southwest and worked down here for 3 or 4 years. I'm currently immediately available because the assignment I was doing has just come to an end. The most recent assignment's actually been back in London for a children's clothing retailer called Marie Chantal, and I was the finance director of that business, which had a number of stores in the UK and in the US, and it probably epitomises what I'm really what I like doing, which is putting in place structures for businesses that are growing or dealing with turnaround type situations. I describe myself as a very hands-on but very operationally focused finance director. So I always want to get stuck into the business rather than just the numbers. Having said that, I do still, realise that getting the numbers right is fundamental. And in my most recent role, the first thing I had to do was actually put in place management accounts. There weren't any, so I put in place the structures and the departments and the coding systems, and then we put in place management accounts, which they hadn't had before. And after about 3 weeks, we were able to produce monthly management accounts with profitability by store, put in place a daily reporting mechanism so we could tell how each store was doing on a daily basis against budget, with them reporting those numbers up at the close of the business day, and then me consolidating that and sending out a report. And this was largely automated, but sending out a report to the management team by 10 o'clock the next morning that said this is how each store did the day before and how it's doing against budget, and that sort of thing. And that's something which I've put in place in a number of roles, and something I learned from one of the specific roles that I did working for a large American multinational, which was part of the Service Master company, and I was the finance director of their European Pest Control division, and that was again a turnaround situation. And I spent a couple of years there really taking up a business that had been losing a lot of money and making the changes that were necessary to make it profitable. And I'm very pleased to say that from '99, just before I arrived, we produced the accounts just as I got there, and they lost £6 million on a turnover of about 40. And by 2002, when we sold the business on behalf of the parent company, it was once again profitable.
So you've got a really experienced background in terms of particularly change management, turnaround situations, and you've also got multi-branch experience. You're immediately available now. You've got property in London, but you've also got a home in Plymouth. Yeah. So ideally the Southwest would be a good place for you to work. In terms of the type of company you're looking for now down here, what are you really looking for down here?
I think a reasonably chunky and commercial role. I think that I can bring a huge amount in my experience of financial management and putting in place structures, and in fact I have done that in businesses down here as well, and that's what I'd like to bring to bear.
That's where your experience lies, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Salary-wise, what sort of level roles will you look at in terms of your side? Because I know you've earned, many years ago you were on 60, you've been on 65, you've currently been earning 85 in London. So what's the sort of general range that you want to look at down here?
I think what I'd like to do is, what's more important to me is the right role. Having said that, I have a family to feed, and I do need to be paid for it. I think sort of round about the the 70 mark. I
Sure.
understand that salaries are less in the southwest.
Sure.
I'm also prepared to look at the overall package. So if there was a bonus element,
Mhm.
you know, I'd be then prepared to accept a lower basic if you had some decent pension contributions. Again, it all comes into the package. So I'd certainly be wanting to, you know, look at the role first and foremost and really
Sure.
see how I can bring value to
The business as a whole.
you and your organisation,
Mhm.
and then let's work out what you think I'm worth and
Sure.
agree a package on that.
And how would you describe your management skills and your personality as a whole in the workplace?
Okay, commercial, professional, and hard-working.
Mm.
I'm always one of the first there in the morning, and I tend to be one of the last to go in the evening. I'm focused on the job in hand, but at the end of the day, you know, I like the team I'm in to have fun and, you know, and enjoy coming to work.
Wonderful. And outside of work, tell me a bit about yourself and your hobbies.
Okay, I'm a very keen sailor, which is, you know, obviously that impacts my desire to perhaps spend a bit more time in the southwest. I've got my own 35-foot racing yacht, which I keep in Plymouth, and I do a certain amount of local and some further away offshore racing. Did the Fastnet race this year, you know, in my holiday. I've also got a young family, 5-year-old son who's also a keen sailor, it turns out, that really takes up most of my time outside of work.
Wonderful. That's great. Thank you, Charles.